Welcome everybody to Gamers Side Quest, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Welcome to the podcast, and thank you guys for joining up. I've got our host for today for our inaugural episode, myself, UFC Wildcat. Got our buddy Hack Attack, who is actually hosting this currently on his Twitch, and then we've got our buddy Balrose as well, hanging out. Guys, want to introduce yourselves, and we can then get on into the topics we got for today.
I just go by Hack.
I'm Balrose.
Base. Killing me. But here we go. Yeah.
Super
Killing you. That's our job.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing what I can. But
it's Gamer Side Quest, but it's really roast Wildcat all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It'll be a funny. The funny is subjective, but it'll be a funny time for most, for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, big thing that we're going to talk about out the gate is what happened last night in the world of sports. We probably will be in sports most of the time, but obviously, big event that happened last night. We had the Super Bowl. Cool shit.
You mean we had a fucking murder, didn't we?
Yeah, I want to call it Super Bowl.
It was called the Super Bowl, but God, that was not a game. That was a lot of bad.
I mean, that was a lot of bad for one team.
Yeah. But yeah, quick synopsis of the game. Basically, we started out pretty slow offensively for both teams. Then Tampa Bay kind of came on strong in that second quarter in the back half of it and kind of just didn't stop. And it never felt like at all throughout the entire day the amazing offense that Kansas City ever had a shot.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like Kansas City played a really tough defense all year.
Yeah,
they really didn't.
And after like week 8, all their games were one possession.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were good at winning close games, but the moment they got punched in the mouth, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, they actually were back on some backup offensive linemen too. So, I mean, when you're going up against one of the better defensive lines in the league and you ask your MVP caliber quarterback to throw it almost 50 times a game, that's usually a recipe for disaster. And that's what happened.
Well, exactly. And the thing I noticed most watching last night was just it looked like there was a team that was meant to be in the Super Bowl, and they looked like a team that one person was meant to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, man. Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Well, yeah, it's not. No one's arguing that.
I mean, like the conversation of, well, he was in Belichick's system no longer applies.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Brady's definitely very, very good. Belichick helps. Belichick does have a decently good system, but it is Tom Brady is the cog that's needed for sure. But yeah, I think some of the game itself was not a very good talking point. There's a lot of things around the game, though, that are very exciting. Hack mentioned one earlier that I thought was funny that I saw today. I saw a lot of headlines from some of the dumb analysts, will say, in the sports world. One of my favorites, and by favorite, I mean I hate him, Stephen A. Smith, with the very goated conversation of the GOAT talks for Patrick Mahomes are over. And I was, one Super Bowl loss. He's in his first 3 years of playing. He got to the AFC Championship game. He won a Super Bowl. He got there again. Yeah, man, fuck it, hanging up. Never gonna be the GOAT.
Yep. Put those cleats in the closet. We're done.
Yeah, pack it up, man. We're done. Normal sports media is terrible. My synopsis.
Overall, I was just super impressed with how he performed. Like the whole time, you could tell he was trying. I know he has that little injury where he was limping around, but the dude just kept getting knocked, and his offensive line was just Tampa Bay was running through him.
I saw one play in particular. I follow a lot of sports talk on Twitter, and there was a play that perfectly exemplified it where the right tackle let Shaq Barrett untouched on a 3rd and 7, I think early in the game, and then I think it's Pierre Paul. I think that's who 90 was. coming through the guard untouched. Mahomes literally has to run back 10 yards and throw it away to stay alive, and that basically was it all night.
Well,
Mahomes
and
can't win it all for you.
he definitely can't when your secondary takes away Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Like, that was the formula. That's what Buffalo didn't do. That's what Cleveland didn't do. They couldn't do it. And then when Tyreek has, one catch for 5 yards going into the second half, he was double covered all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the formula. Who else you got?
Tampa Bay pretty much decided, they were like, we know it will defeat you. We're just going to do that over and over again.
Yeah.
It has never let up.
For sure.
And Hardman was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, anytime
absolutely
KC
awful.
had some gas in the first quarter or second quarter, Hardman just ruined it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, Kelce missed a couple of catches, and when you get paid that kind of money, you make those catches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like
I've got the.
Well, even their punter, like the first
Townsend was terrible. He
bad. hit one, and then he shanked one, and they're like, "Well, you're done."
Yeah.
I mean, one team clearly had its will imposed on the other team.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that'll happen, man. I mean, one of the most defining plays that I think is great is at the basically end of the game. I think it was a 4th down miss to Tyreek Hill, and the rookie safety for Tampa Bay, Antoine Winfield Jr., gets up, gets in the Tyreek's face, and is like, deuces.
Oh, that's
yeah.
The taunting penalty and is gone.
The funny thing, I told you,
damn.
We haven't gotten into it yet, but being since I'm in Kansas, sitting in a room full of Kansas fans, oh my, they took that so hard. Like, at that point in the game, they were so salty about how dare he? How dare he?
Well, I mean, it's the second time in 7 years the AFC West goes to the Super Bowl and just gets embarrassed. Broncos did it in 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. That's something I'd like to talk about. That's something I'd like to talk about, is just I don't understand the hate Tom Brady gets. I don't get it. Last night, some of the comments I heard were like, he's got a super punchable face. I hate that man. Why does everyone think he's so great? And
success breeds hate. That's
yeah, you're only mad because he's not on your team. If he was on your team, you'd be the biggest fan ever.
I've seen it a lot on the social medias. I think it's the Wedding Crashers or whatever. It was like, man, I hate you, but god damn it, do I respect the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm not a Buccaneers fan. I'm not a Bucs fan. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I still recognize that the guy is the best quarterback the NFL has ever had.
Easily one of the best.
I mean, coming out of it, there's only really 2 stories. Number 1, can Tampa Bay avoid the hangover? And number 2, does Kansas City start off well enough next year to not just implode?
Yeah.
Because if you go 0-2, you're probably looking at imploding next year.
I mean, Mahomes got, what, $1 billion?
That's
what his contract is, isn't it? He's the highest paid player in the NFL.
Now, that's the other thing about Mahomes is that, when you are not winning that game, 4 minutes left, you probably should stop playing hero ball. Because, especially that sack that he took with 3 guys, that could have been bad. That could have been, a torn ACL, a torn MCL. Now you're missing half of next year. Yeah, there had to be a conversation between him and Andy Reid on the sideline where Andy Reid was like, dude, we're paying you a lot of money and we just aren't going to win this game. Keep yourself alive.
There's a throw in the white towel kind of mentality.
And you could tell Tampa Bay realized that with 8 minutes left. All they were doing was handing it off to Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Which didn't matter because Jones would then run for 8.
Yeah, what did Brady? He only threw once in the last quarter, right? Once or twice.
The game was over midway through the third.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Sitting there in the first quarter, second quarter, at that point I was like, these 2 teams aren't on the same playing field. It was very apparent at that moment.
Casey had a chance until Brady scored with less than a minute left, going into halftime. At that the game was over at that point. Casey got into striking range and then gave the ball back to Tom, and he was like, "Yeah, that's cute. I'm going to score 7, and then we're going into halftime."
Yeah,
and that's what he does.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think that a game that was like a 2-score possession, and even still, they stopped Tampa Bay on like the inch yard line and kept the game close. A game like that, watching it the whole time, I never felt like Kansas City was in it.
No,
And that's the
I
crazy
didn't either.
part.
Them compared to
was
last
like-
year when they played the Niners, big difference.
Yeah. That you saw it a lot throughout a lot of postseasons for Kansas City, including last year, where they would be down 2 scores and you're like, yeah, Kansas City's got it. Never felt like that last night.
Mm-hmm.
But in those games, they never played a complete team like they did against Tampa Bay.
Exactly.
Do you guys like the halftime show?
No.
I didn't watch it. I missed that one.
I didn't think it was very good.
But yeah, I saw some funny memes the weekend running through that room or whatever, being like running to the bathroom, about to puke.
I mean, I like The Weeknd.
That
I
was
listened to
funny.
his music, but I did not enjoy that halftime show. I didn't think it was very good.
There were too many
Definitely
lights.
not.
There was a lot of stuff. I just didn't. It wasn't for me.
Yeah, there's not a lot with the halftime shows that I'm usually invested in because I'm too much of a football nerd. I'm sitting there during halftime while it's going on, thinking about like what adjustments I would make.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of a halftime show being a mini concert is just kind of overdone at this point.
Yeah, and I think it's for some people. Some people watch the game and don't care about football and are there for the halftime show. Good for them. I hope they had a good time. And I did not hear anything bad. There's been times where I've heard the Super Bowl halftime show is garbo, but no, it was good.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, it wasn't like I won't say it was terrible. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have
So
a
what
favorite
about
commercial?
Mr. Streaker Man? Oh,
Streaker Man? That's a good. We could go back to that.
Streaker Man was my thing, man.
That was good.
I was
I mean,
joking
in COVID, how does that happen?
because fuck it, man. People are crazy, and it's just like people are pent up, and they're like, "Fuck it."
Security's light,
But
I
it
guess,
was-
because they're like it's COVID.
Yeah, that too. It was probably a thing of like, we only let so many people in. There was rules. They had security light because of COVID and stuff, and it just like, dude slips through and goes buck wild. Sure.
Literally.
It's funny though. I was actually at a game in I want to say I was in high school, and the Packers came to play the Bengals, and Brett Favre was still the quarterback of the Packers. And I remember it was like late in the game, fourth quarter. Brett Favre drops back and they stop the play because somebody ran on the field, and a dude literally ran up to Brett Favre and took the ball and just darted. So yeah, Streaker Man, people are crazy and they'll do whatever they can. And I still find it crazy that it happens routinely.
Literally routinely.
But yeah, I want to go back to your other point, Hack. Commercials. Any that you guys
always.
were like, yeah?
Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis was good.
The Cheetos.
Yep, Cheetos. It wasn't me. That was probably my
Cheetos,
favorite one of the
yeah.
night.
Yeah.
like
Samuel L. Jackson, Verizon's was good, but it's because it's Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
He has a thing about not saying motherfucker and all this stuff now.
Oh.
Because he didn't say it in that one, which was like that used to be like his trademark thing, and now he's like starting to move away from it. And maybe that's because like his role in Marvel doesn't really allow him to.
That's true.
He's it.
He's heavily with Disney now, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I.
What about the Paramount stuff? Like throughout the night, the kind of like solid commercials.
They're just pushing. They're just pushing that so hard.
That's what I felt like after the third time of it happening. Like I didn't care that by the time I got to the end of it, I understood. Like I knew commercial off rip number one that like, oh, Paramount streaming service, cool. After the third time that I saw it, I was like over it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I kept bringing up was that Clarice show. They probably showed a commercial for Clarice.
Equalizer.
Yeah, an Equalizer. Like these two shows, just every commercial break, you guys saw a commercial for that show.
And it's CBS, which makes sense. You got to promote your own stuff.
But at the same time, I'm just like, is this show bad? Is that why you're pushing it so hard?
Is Clarice just starting? Because
Yeah,
like
it's-
Equalizer
I believe
started
so.
after the Super Bowl, so that makes sense for it to be heavily advertised.
Yeah, but
But
Clarice
like
starts.
when your show starts at what 11:30 midnight, like you're not gonna get a lot of viewers.
Well, and Clarice is. I mean, I get it. It's a whole Silence of the Lambs thing, but I don't know. I just felt like they pushed it way too hard. It made me not want to watch it.
That genre is not gonna do well on a public network.
No, it's like that
It's
needs
gonna
to be an
be
HBO
like
show.
TV13, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of public station TV has been struggling to begin with streaming and everything like that. But yeah, I think overall Super Bowl was a fun, enjoyable experience. A lot of good things to pull out of it. The game sucked, but otherwise there was some good stuff to come out of it though. But with that, I think we could move on to topic number 2, just kind of talking about our weeks, what's happening, what games you playing, shit like that. What have you guys been enjoying? You guys, am I starting? Am I talking about
I don't know who was starting it.
No, fuck, I'll start. Cool. So myself, UFC Wildcat, I stream on Twitch, and I've been speedrunning, man. And I finally, in Super Mario 64 16 star, I've cracked one of my first barriers, a sub 20 run.
Wow.
And I find it crazy to talk about a game that I played as a kid that I loved. It was actually the first game I ever played. I now beat that game in under 20 minutes.
That's because you cheat, but
oh my god, I do.
Game Shark is a thing.
So you speedrun it in 20 minutes, only getting 16 stars.
Yeah, so the basic goal is you get 8 stars to go beat the first Bowser and grab the key to go to the basement. From there, you need to get 15 total, so another 7 to then spawn a rabbit called Mips. The rabbit will allow you to clip through doors, including the door to go and get the second key. Once you've done that, and you get the second key, you can go upstairs and do the one of the most legendary tricks that randomly got found out, called a backwards long jump. Because in Super Mario 64, when they made the game, they capped how fast you could go forward, but not how fast you could go backwards. Because of that, if you build up enough speed going backwards, you can clip through things, including doors. So you start to do that. And from there, that's when the magic happens of just be good, which a lot of the ending for me is not good.
So is there a next step for 16 stars?
So there's some other tricks that I need to learn. There's some other like faster stars I could get. There is a trick that's called the lobby BLJ, which instead of getting 8 stars to begin with, you immediately backwards long jump and clip into the first Bowser. And from there, that's faster. But that's very hard, and I've not learned that. So yeah, there's other stuff I can learn. The record currently is at sub 15 minutes.
Wow.
So I have a lot of way to work, but I would be very happy if I ever got below 18. 18 would be the point where I'd be like,
we're good?
We're good. Yeah.
What else did you do?
Other than that, I've been getting back into some Ocarina of Time randomizers. I know Hack, when I first started my channel, Ocarina of Time was my shit, and Hack is such a big fan of it. I know he is.
Every single time I love logging in and seeing you play Ocarina of Time for the 100,000th time.
Exactly, but I love it. It's one of my favorite games, and now playing it with a randomizer, I'm starting to get back into some of the basic stuff because we have some new people coming in and wanting to join and do some stuff in our community. The Missing Number Society, or MNS for short, is what we call it. A lot of people interested in that facet of the community that we have. So trying to learn some old shit to vibe with some of the new people. So that's basically been my week of gaming. I've been.
Did you win?
So
what about Mario Party
today? Mario Party is always good. We've actually moved on. So every Friday on my channel as well at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a Mario Party weekly event where we have people in the community come and join us, and we all play Mario Party together. We have played through Mario Party 3. We've played through Mario Party 5. We just finished that up, and we just now started Mario Party 7. Way better than Mario Party 5. I know we played Mario Party 5 together, one of our experiences. We fucking hate that game.
You mean we didn't play it, we suffered through it together.
Yeah.
It was...
I've suffered through it like 4 times.
Yeah. A lot of people love Mario Party 5. And to me, I don't get it. There's so much bad with it, and it makes me upset.
Eric, what'd you play this week?
I finished Ori and the Blind Forest.
The new HD one or the older one?
The definitive release.
Okay.
As far as I know, the difference between the two is purely graphical. And then I am somewhere around 70-80% of the way through Ori and Will o' the Wisp. The second one, I will try to 100%, but there is like this idea of you play the game on the hardest mode, never dying. I don't think that that's just going to happen. There's like hundreds of hours that I would have to spend playing it, and I could get too frustrated at it.
No.
Yeah.
But Will o' the Wisp is like really fucking good. It's probably my favorite game of 2020 and it's not even close. Moon Studios has like I think just those two games under their belt, and to be
they're making a new one, right?
And a third one?
Yeah.
Maybe. I haven't been in that Google sphere.
Okay.
I'm not normally a huge fan of platformers, but like this, it's just so good. The music is on point, the animation is on point, especially to be 2D on the system that I'm running. Like I can't imagine playing a Switch on the road with those kind of graphics and not being amazed by it. And Ori always tells a story purely through art and music. Like there is some written dialogue and some voices, but it doesn't carry the story, which a lot of games really rely on.
Yeah, for sure.
And this one just took everything that I liked about the platformer in the first one, and it was like, hey, we're going to enhance the combat. All the boss battles have been ridiculously hard because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, so that's been pretty satisfying. A lot of like cursing while I'm learning the mechanics, which is something I do like. But like when I'm done with it, I'm like, wow, that was really well designed. It's not like a lot of bosses in other games where you get done with it on the hardest difficulty and you're like, I had to cheese that because it was the only way to do it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about like when I was playing Kingdom Hearts, for example. I felt like there was a few bosses where it just became like, all right, what is the cheese method to make sure I just kind of coast through?
Yep.
And I loathe that. So it's good to hear that like Ori's different in that manner of like, again, the idea of rewarding gameplay for beating something, being like, all right, cool.
Yeah, something that's weird is that like you can max out your life to a certain extent, but like if you are in a complicated area and like the ground is spiked, it doesn't matter how much life you have, you die on the second spike. Like the first spike will just take 80% of your life, and the second one will kill you. Doesn't matter if you have 6 orbs or 20, that's what it does. So it scales.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something the reason I think I liked Ori as well. I didn't finish it, but I played it. I think it harkens back to like when maybe we were kids and games were a little more difficult and they didn't have all of the mechanics they have now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
you only use like 6 buttons on the controller.
Yeah, like there was games
you have to be really good at the 6 buttons.
Like Lion King is a perfect example on Sega, right? Like everyone knows that game is super hard. And I remember countless times as a kid being like, I'm bored. Oh, let me try to play this game again. I'm 8 now. I'm 9 now. I'll beat it. And still getting stuck on the exact same level.
Yeah, and like the story itself is pretty solid. Like it's not game of the year solid, but there are definitely moments in it that happen and I was like, okay, there's a few tears. Now I'm angry. Now I'm happy. Now I'm joyed. Now I'm angry again. Which is weird because it doesn't have like these multi-million-dollar voice actors behind it.
No, because I think that's something that people have forgotten is that you don't need that. Like
you don't need these huge cinematic experiences.
No, you don't.
And like Ori as a character is almost pathetically adorable.
Yeah.
Agreed. And they took that and they used it to their advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Chat's pointing out Celeste is another great game that's come out recently.
That is on my list.
Celeste
has been out for a while.
Yeah, over a year.
It has. I played that on stream. I did that all in one sitting. It was not hard to do in one sitting. I think it took me about 7-8 hours, but it was fun.
Yeah,
It was very
Chat
good.
saying 2018.
Yeah, and Hades came out last year. That's another one that won a couple of awards.
So that's a roguelike.
Yeah,
Have y'all ever played a roguelike?
Mm-hmm.
Like Path of Exile.
Path of Exile, okay. I've never played them, or don't know playing them.
The big games I played this week were really I spent an enormous amount of time playing Call of Duty. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty as a kid, and probably as a young adult too. Like I got super into like Black Ops and Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare, that generation of Call of Duty. And then I don't know what happened. I stopped playing them. And now that they've reintroduced crossplay with Call of Duty, so that I can play with my friends who are still on Xbox or my friends who are on PlayStation, and we can all play in the same lobby. And it doesn't matter what console we have or what game we have or what game console we have, right? I've really enjoyed like reconnecting with people that I haven't played games with in 10 years.
In forever, yeah.
Because, I mean, legitimately, that's like how long it's been. I mean, Black Ops came out in like 2010-ish, 2011-ish, somewhere in there.
I feel like I was in college. I remember playing a gun game with my roomies.
Exactly.
It was the best.
And so we've been just playing a lot of zombies because that's what we always used to do. And it's just been really fun to just sit back and play the game.
Yeah, zombies is a good PvE experience where you can kind of chill and reconnect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just BS. I've streamed it once. I might stream it again. But it's just, I don't know, I just really like it. They took away a lot of that dumb stuff that they started adding in like future, or what is it, Future Combat or whatever that game was called. Like chat's pointing out like wall running. They got rid of that. That's not in there anymore.
Did they really? Nice.
So it's Cold War takes place in the Cold War, so it's an 80s game. So you're playing with like 80s era guns, which is kind of nice that you're not playing with World War II guns again. You know, like it takes place in Vietnam and everything. It's just nice.
So what's your favorite COD mode? I know zombies is probably top, but like, do you play any of the other multiplayer ones? Then
they've got, the new one has, this new COD has, it's got your normal Warzone, so anybody can play Warzone. Yeah. That's like your battle royale, which is fun when it's want to. They've got a prop hunt, which if you've never played prop hunt, it's like on Gary's mod where there's like 6 players who are players, and then the other people are props or like objects around the map, and they have to hunt them out. Find them. That's pretty fun.
They have that in the game.
Mm-hmm. It's a mode.
Wow. Okay.
So I'd probably rank that my favorite modes are zombies, prop hunt, then Warzone. Yeah. And then I don't really play generic multiplayer very much. The campaign on Cold War is really good too. Like it's actually, it's the first time, and maybe it's because I haven't played Call of Duty a long time, but it's the first time I remember that a Call of Duty had like decisions. Like your decisions literally affect the story that you'll get at the end.
Yeah,
like, you know,
this is the first time you've enjoyed it since No Russian.
Well, yeah.
That's the last one I remember.
Remember, most Call of Duty games were just a tunnel, right? Like go this way, shoot targets. This one isn't open world like Battlefield, but it has, like, you have to make choices. Like, who do you save? And whoever you choose to save determines the outcome you get later in the game. Which I think is a good way to do it. I would like to see more campaigns come back because I really do enjoy shooters. I just don't enjoy PvP shooter that much. Like I play it every once in a while, but I don't love it.
Yeah, after like Modern Warfare 2 campaigns really took a backseat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the reason I fell in love with
3's campaign wasn't good.
The reason I fell in love with Halo as a kid was because of the campaign. It wasn't because of multiplayer. It was because I really liked the campaign.
Yeah, I think that's the one market that I feel like is so underutilized, is like the PvE campaign-y type of market that people don't do. Because again, a lot of the Call of Duties that I know, at least out the gate, talking with my brother's big on Call of Duty. They haven't really done a lot of campaigns until now, where it's just kind of like, oh fuck, we gotta throw a campaign in there, there you go.
Well, even like your looter shooters, their campaigns are fine.
Yeah.
Destiny's campaign, especially for number 1, was bad. Number
Terrible.
2 was not good. Division's campaign is not a good one.
Yeah, Division 1's campaign was awful too. I mean, there's so many games like that. Anthem. Anthem's awful game.
Yeah.
They all try to do this like you're the hero of the story, and it really needs to be like you're not the hero, you're a hero in a story.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons like why WoW is still such a good game is because you're not the hero. You are the champion, but you are on the level of other heroes.
Yeah. It's not the god complex that you get in like other games where it's like, or even like shows even that have it that there's like, oh, something's gonna happen.
Exactly.
I've got to go do something. But yeah, I think we're at a good place talking about our week. I think our next topic, we just kind of want to talk about some other generic topics. I don't know if anybody's got any other releases. I know Nintendo nerd Rye Guy here knows that at the end of the week on Friday, we're getting it's a re-release plus new game of Super Mario 3D World.
Yeah, with the Bowser thing, right?
The Bowser thing is cool. I don't know how long that's even going to be. I think I've heard something like 3 to 4 hours of like something to play, which is fine. I feel like Nintendo's made a good pull of getting the Wii U games that sold bad but at least had good games onto the Switch. That's cool. I kind of want to see more new things from Nintendo. My big thing is like, I know we're going to eventually talk about releases we're looking forward to, but like Breath of the Wild 2, give me it. Nummy, give me that good gaming. But I guess in the other spaces, is there any other games that you guys are excited about coming out anytime soon?
Not in February.
Yeah, I didn't have anything in February.
Right.
Like this,
I've looked up and down the list like 3 times. I'm like, nothing I want to spend on.
Like chat's pointing out, BlizzCon is this week, but to be honest with you, BlizzCon the last couple of years has been super disappointing.
I
just remember you guys have phones, right?
Yeah, exactly. I have a phone.
No, I don't.
I'm not playing Diablo on a phone.
I call by walkie-talkie.
How dare you?
I actually have a cup and a string, and I have a pigeon that carries it to the other person. It's like that game Unravel.
Unravel, yes.
No, I mean I'm not looking forward to any games, but I'll tell you something I would like to talk about. I'd like to ask you guys, what's your biggest disappointment from 2020 for gaming?
Cyberpunk. It was hyped way too long to flop like it did. Not even close.
What about you, Ryan?
I'm trying to think of some of the games that I've like played because I've done a lot of my retro stuff. I've gone back that way, especially in my streaming.
Yeah, but there's bad retro games.
Yeah, there's definitely bad retro games to go back to. Mario Party 5. Damn, are we Mario Party 5 shit talking again? Am I already back here? Is that my biggest disappointment?
Yeah. I would have to. Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. I was
going to say, I'll have to agree.
I don't play new games.
Keep talking over each other.
I do.
I would agree with Eric. Probably my biggest big mainstream game that was released was Cyberpunk, but my biggest disappointment was actually probably the World of Warcraft remake. Or not World of Warcraft, the Warcraft 3 remake.
Yeah.
Because that game was awful. Like,
it was another example of you really need to delay your game.
Mm-hmm. Like, all this hype and then nothing.
And like Project Red's case, like it makes some sense because all the developers were getting death threats, so like they might as well have said it. But at the same time, you just like, no, it's not ready.
No, and I'm with you on the thing. I'll talk about Cyberpunk in a second. I was looking forward to Warcraft because I was hoping it was going to inspire more RTS games, right? Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty, Command & Conquer's came out. It was good. Command & Conquer's remake of 1 and 2, where 1 in
Red Alert.
Red Alert was a good game, and I was genuinely happy and excited that Warcraft 3 was going to be remade because I think it's a good game. But it just, I don't know. It's like an undercooked pizza that's still frozen in the middle.
Yeah, like Capcom's done it right with really releasing games.
They made a whole new engine, right?
Bangers.
Yeah, the graphics were awful on World of Warcraft. Or no, I keep can't even say World of Warcraft. Warcraft 3. Their graphics.
Oh, they were terrible. They were almost worse than when they released it the first time.
Yeah, it was half cooked. But Cyberpunk.
So, what's your opinion on that? Do they need to? Like they announced these games forever. Cyberpunk's been in development for a decade or over a decade, right? So like, would you rather they just not announce these games until they're like close to ready then?
Yes.
Because like Nintendo does that, and the games come out and they're, you know, you get what you expect, so to speak. But like, you know,
Well,
Yes.
like in
they
Project
announced
Red's
Elder
case,
Scrolls. Yeah.
the game was delayed 3 times.
Yeah.
And like the first time that you delay a game, you should not give a date. You should just say, "Hey, we're delayed. It's ready when it's ready."
Yeah.
I understand there's a lot of hype. We want to push out a product that's ready when it's ready. Now, from a company perspective, you have stakeholders. If you
Yes.
tell them that, they're just going to pull their funding.
Yeah. The problem is I can't think right now, and maybe I'm just not thinking of it. I can't think of a single game that's been delayed multiple times that has been good.
No, usually when a game's delayed more than once, like the release
There's
is
a
also
reason.
bad.
And this is Cyberpunk, right? Like when we get on Cyberpunk's question here, I think the game I play on PC, I think the game looked fine. Graphically wise, I didn't play on the old consoles. I didn't have any of those problems. I didn't have a lot of glitches or anything like that, like a lot of people said. My big problem with it was that I felt like I got the dialogue. There was too much dialogue, and I get it's an RPG, and that they're trying to really set the scene and create this world. But I found myself bored and just wanting to click through the story. Like I do not care about this character. I want to move on. I'm tired of talking.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
My problem is the sheer number of bugs.
Yeah.
Like you have an incomplete product, you should not release that.
Yeah, you're playing a CD Projekt Red game that's playing like a Bethesda game.
God, Fallout 76.
Yeah, rest in peace. I
mean,
it's gotten better.
To be fair, like Fallout 70, like Project Red definitely handled that better than Bethesda did. Bethesda was like, you get what you get. Project Red has at least said a couple times, like, we will try to fix it. Now, the first time to try and fix it, they brought more bugs into what they fixed.
Yeah.
But like every response that they have given has been a very professional one.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Fallout 76 has gotten better. I don't know. Maybe since they're owned by Microsoft now, maybe their next games will actually be good. Only time will tell.
If the next Elder Scrolls flops, I think Bethesda's just done. Elder Scrolls Online isn't doing that well. Fallout 76 was bad. If the next Elder Scrolls is bad, like you start looking at them like probably EA. Quite that level, because like EA is just blatantly bad. But at that point, what do you have? Another Fallout? Nobody's gonna be excited for that. You shot one, now you're shouting a Elder Scrolls. That's your two big franchises. It's like when Microsoft released this Halo 6, and it's also bad.
Yeah, because
people are like,
was bad.
I still like Master Chief, but you gave me 2 bad releases in a row. Maybe it's time for me to look for a new series.
Yeah,
it's like Gears.
Halo's a perfect example. I was gonna say Halo's a perfect example that you're right in that, like, you've already had one chance, you had 2 chances. This is your second chance. If you screw me again, I'm probably gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, there's too many games out now. Well, I mean, to be fair, there's always been too many games out.
Yeah. But I think it's a matter of, like, the biggest worry that I have is, like, I think the only game I can think of currently that is been announced for Nintendo that's delayed now is Metroid Prime, but they completely nuked the dev team and stuff. But I just keep seeing it. Like, again, they announced Fable with a mini cutscene, and they're like, Fable's coming out. And Elder Scrolls, like you guys were talking about, et cetera, et cetera. I get very worried when we just, hype up these games that, like, are forever from being released. And it's like,
yeah,
you set the expectations high when you're like, we have to announce it now because it's big. But the only reason that you're announcing it is because, like, you want to get people hyped about it.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't expect to see
puts the bar up.
I wouldn't expect to see a Fable until there's a console refresh. Honestly, I think that's what's going to happen with that game. Like, you're going to see it when Xbox Series X becomes Xbox Series X, whatever. Right? The
Xbox Series S presented by Taco Bell.
You know how there's like PlayStation Pro and all that.
Refresh.
I'm saying, like, the next, like, you know how there's always that midline refresh, like 4 or 5 years in. I'm betting that's when Fable releases, like 4 years.
When was the last Fable? Was it Fable
3? That was 2000, long time ago. 2000 something.
That one wasn't good.
What about you, Ryan? Your best favorite game is going to come out here soon.
That's the thing. Yeah, you mentioned EA, and I was like, that's like a perfect segue. But I wanted to keep going on the other topic. Other random gaming news, at least for my mini brain knowledge. At college football coming back finally. They stopped producing it because a dude named Ed O'Bannon went to trial, being like, "Hey, they're using my name and likeness, making money off of me, and that's not cool." So, I mean, again, it gets to the point where like EA can't produce a game that clearly is, got legal issues with it, so they had to nix it out. It's been gone. The last one was produced in 2013. So 8 years we've been without a college football video game, and in 2 to 3 years we should be getting another one, and I'm very excited about it. It was one of my actually is funny enough. The reason I got into content creation to begin with was the NCAA football series, so I'm near and dear to my heart, and I'm excited about it. It'll be different, but it's still EA, and that's the one thing. I get very excited that it's coming back, but then I look at Madden and I'm like, fuck.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
such a
like,
great game.
EA has hit home runs with Battlefront 2 after they fixed the microtransaction problem. And
Yeah.
Squadrons is not a bad game. It's just short.
For sure. The reasons I get upset looking at a game like Madden, and I know a lot of people that I will look at in the Madden community who talk about it, is as somebody who loved NCAA, the number one thing I loved was the Dynasty mode, which is basically similar to if you look at the Madden's franchise mode. A lot of people in that franchise mode feel like they have been left for dead for years. And obviously, when the big money ticket for your sports game currently are your ultimate teams, the card buying pack things where you build your team up, I get very, very scared because that was starting to get implemented in NCAA 14, the last one.
Oh, 100%. You'll have the gambling mechanics in NCAA.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
I get scared that that's going to be the focus.
That's going to be a thing until the U.S. changes its law.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't do that same thing in China and Korea. You can gamble, but there is a minimum guarantee.
Yeah, I think it's outlawed, isn't it? Like, the games either can't be out in those countries or it's just like not a feature in them, right?
No, it's a feature. So like I imagine if those sports games have like stars to represent their players or like a power level of like 100, if you buy a pack that's like supposed to have a 90 player or better, in America those games don't necessarily have to have that 90 player. They have a chance to have that 90 player, and it's a low chance. In Korea and China, you're guaranteed that 90 player. Like, a lot of your gacha games do that same mechanic.
So is it like, we played card games, you and me know this. So like I open my pack, I get a guaranteed rare in there. That has to happen in those countries, but in America, I could get low rolled and never get a rare.
It's more like you buy a box and it says like 1 in 72 packs will have an ultra rare, and you have 72 packs in a box. But very well, that box could not have one. In Korea and China, it has to have one.
So I think that's similar to what Hearthstone, because I know Hearthstone had that issue where they had to implement a pity time, where within 40 packs, you have to get a legendary, the big money cards. And as you went on, you had a higher and higher chance to get that legendary card. So that sounds crazy. That's probably the same reason that they implemented it. Damn.
Well, it's because in those countries, it's very much accepted to spend your money on video games.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at how much they work, how much they socialize within family, there's not a whole lot of time for them to have social activity outside of those two things. So you have to have something to look forward to. And both of those things are very addictive. And especially the single worker, especially the single workers, they turn to the alcohol, the smoking, the gambling addiction for the dopamine hit. And when you don't have that dopamine hit, you put all that effort into it, depression happens. And when you have a ton of depression, eventually it leads down a very dark path. So those laws were implemented to kind of prevent that.
Yeah.
You have people working 16 hours a day. What are they doing? They're playing a game on their phone.
Yeah.
The
gacha games. That's so interesting.
God,
I think yeah. It's an interesting topic. I think there's a lot of good gaming stuff going on. I think we've covered a lot of good bases. I think we're hitting on the back half, the last part that I know we wanted to talk about, which is kind of just discussing what we've got going on, events, streaming stuff going on, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll lead off with Hack.
Yeah, so
I've missed you, buddy.
My big thing is I haven't been streaming nearly as much as I'm supposed to be for the last 2 weeks, and that's just figuring out life and everything that goes with it. I'm hoping to start off slow again and do maybe 1 to 2 days a week. Obviously, the podcast thing is one of those days. So if I feel like to do more, I can. If I don't, I don't. The games I'm excited about right now to stream some more are obviously Call of Duty, because that's what I'm playing a lot. But I'd really like to finish our Satisfactory playthrough that me and you and Curls have.
There's so much still to do.
How do you finish Satisfactory?
Listen, we're trying to get nuclear.
How dare? How dare?
Yeah, it's just, you know how impossible it is to try to schedule a guy that lives in the middle of the country with a guy that lives somewhat in the middle of the country and then another guy who lives in England. Meshing our schedules up is not the easiest task.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, my week's gonna be just balancing real adult life with also trying to do the things I really like to do.
Yeah. I feel.
What about you, Eric? What are you gonna do,
buddy? Eric.
I'm gonna wrap up Ori and Will of the Wisps and supposedly like 99% it, because I'm not doing that one part. I would like to go back to Blind Forest and 100% it, but I think my save's just too far in. So I don't really want to start from the beginning of that. I'm playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is a gacha game, but it's not very much random. Like, you earn shards to create characters, but you can earn shards by just completing the same levels over and over again. Once I'm done with Will of the Wisp, probably Star Wars Squadrons. I need to go back and play all the DLC in Witcher 3. But I spent 150 hours in Witcher 3, so I'm not very inclined to rush back to it.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima is one that I want to play. Celeste is one that I want to play. There's a backlog. I'm just going through what I've already paid for. Then I'll pay for clearing games.
New stuff.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, once I get to April, it's going to get busy because Mass Effect Trilogy comes out in May. Resident Evil 8 comes out in May, which means I'm going to play 2, 3, 7, probably 1. I don't think I'll play 4 because 4 hasn't been remastered in years. I didn't like 5, and 6 was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't need to see, like, Baldur smashing Chris again. It doesn't make sense.
That's very fair.
Rest in peace.
That's very fair.
I am curious about Resident Evil 8, but, like, I just don't really care for the vampire lady.
Fair.
Like,
it
is an interesting character. It's just not my thing. Like, I'm more interested to see, like, whose story is ending. Is it Ethan's or Chris's? It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'm very interested in 8 for the sole fact that I have loved. I'm not a scary game person, but since we decided to play Resident Evil 7, and we have gone in our friend group on a personal journey of playing through all the re-releases and everything like that, I've had so much fun with the series. It's definitely one of my favorites in the entire gaming sphere, just because it's such a well-written story in general. So that makes me excited for Village. I like Vampire Lady, but that's fine.
Now, I've played the demo on the PS5, and it is impressive. Graphically
it's
impressive.
Good to hear. Oh, that's so, because it looks beautiful. Because you're not in like the dreary areas of Village where it's like a broken down cabin and like the swamps and shit. You're in like a castle and like gothic structures and stuff like that.
Yeah, you start a dungeon, you get to see like what's going to be the main hall of the castle. You see a couple of rooms. And to be honest, I know that a lot of people think that 4 is going to get remade. I could see number 1 getting remade. There's like when I was playing through the demo, I was like, holy, like if they remade 1 like this, I would play it every single day.
Because 1 was a re-release, correct? Where it still had the same mechanics. It wasn't that.
Yeah, 1's been a remaster a few times. Like they upscale the graphics, they improve the lighting, but the tank controls are still there.
Mm-hmm.
And 1's story is just as good as 2's.
Yeah.
3 was just short. That was its problem.
3 was
I like
short,
it when they make games. I like it when they do a good job remaking a game.
Capcom,
like I think everybody does. I think it's really, when it's well executed, it's the perfect blend of nostalgia and fixing some of maybe the issues it had when it was released back in whenever.
Yeah, like Capcom could do that with Mega Man and make a bank. Mega Man's not something that's been remade in a long time.
Very much so.
Yeah. I agree with all of that, man. A lot of good.
What about you, Ryan?
For me, I'm just doing more speed running, man. I think tomorrow I'm doing a quick day of speed running Super Mario 64. I hope to get on. I speedrun Mario Party 2, which is masochistic, let me tell you. A lot of RNG in that one, but it's fun still. And then I know we'll be doing some more Mario Party. I realize that I think it's starting at 6, but we're in 7 now, so it's still there. They only have one classic board where you go around the board and collect the stars. So we're going to be doing some whole new experience. Like there was one that I read that said you have to go and pay a bunch of coins, and whoever has the most coins at a windmill gets the star for that selective windmill. Oh. So it's going to be different, but I'm excited to see if it's good different or not. Because again, I don't remember 7. I remember 6, but I don't remember 7 at all. So I'm excited to see how that works. And then
whether it's going to
just more
or just make it worse.
Yeah, it could make it worse, and I'm excited to see. Because I mean, that might be the reason why I don't remember 7, because the other modes sucked.
You played it like one time, and you're like, I don't ever want to do this again.
Probably.
But typically, like people remember those experiences.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's why I'm like, damn, am I just smooth brain and not remembering some of our other stuff? But I think the other thing I'm doing is I'm enjoying doing some Ocarina of Time stuff. I know they've changed some of the ways that they do what is considered their standard stuff. I've been getting into that. Had some new people come to the community I've been working with that, and it's fun times. So I mean, that my schedule is pretty much retro for me.
So on the subject of Zelda, what do you think Nintendo's going to do for the 35th anniversary? Like, sure, they're going to release something on Breath of the Wild 2, but there has to be something else in the mix.
I would love a 3D collection. I hate to say it. I would love a 3D collection that would have, and this is going to suck because I don't want to say it this way because it makes me sad. 3D collection with Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword type thing. Which means Majora's Mask. Which I hate. I love Majora's Mask, but they did that with Galaxy and Galaxy 2. They picked one of them. So.
You know how I feel about Zelda games, in that I think I always get negative looks from this, but I think that they are good core games. I just feel like they get a lot of praise that maybe they don't live up to. If that makes sense. Yeah. It's my controversial view on my one gaming controversial view is that like I don't think Breath of the Wild is Game of the Year for the year it came out. I see you looking at me through that camera.
One?
The only other game it competed with was Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
that's it.
And it just wasn't like Horizon Zero Dawn was a stronger release. It just wasn't a Game of the Year release.
No, it wasn't.
If Breath of the Wild comes out the next year, it doesn't win Game of the Year because God of War was better.
Yeah, and I feel like it was cool they did it, but all they did was take all the things that Skyrim and Fallout and all these things have come before it and added dungeons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your open world games are that now.
They are.
They took the original Assassin's Creed formula and they made it their own.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the game. I think it was a good game. I don't think it was 10 out of 10.
That's fair. I think because I've talked with Eric and some of our other friends about this as well. The idea, I played God of War first. God of War is like one of the best games I've ever played. And then we played Horizon Zero Dawn. And if I played those in reverse, I probably would have liked Horizon Zero Dawn a lot better than I did.
Agreed.
But Horizon Zero Dawn was pretty like, all right. Story was pretty good, but I mean, the gameplay, I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, God of War had a good story.
Yes. One of the best in my
And I think God of War was like a 5-year project. Horizon was a 3.
Yeah.
I thought
Horizon's developer is one of the two made it's a series on the PS2. It was one of the main ones for Sony. had the word kill in it.
Oh, kills.
There's like 3
Oh,
games.
yeah, they have shooter games.
Yeah, and they
Um,
were fine.
yeah, I can't think of what they're called. They're called Kill something. I know exactly what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
I
One
don't know.
of
I
us
think
turned 30.
yeah, exactly. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, was a more I liked it more because it was more innovative. I felt like
Yeah.
the story was interesting. It was post-apocalyptic in a different sense, not just nuclear wasteland or zombie wasteland or something. Yeah, like it was
Right.
different, and I felt like it should have gotten a little bit more because of the fact that they took a chance.
It
The
came out
problem
at the
is that
beginning of the year, right?
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. It came out before Zelda.
But
Yeah.
it came out the same year, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out in
Right,
like
but
January.
early in the year.
Yeah, it
So
came
It
like
was
out
like
early.
Recency
January. Zelda was
bias.
March,
Yeah, it was like a spring game.
and then the rest of the year was
Bleh.
You could kind of tell most developers were like, "Well, Zelda's out. We're not going to try," which made no sense because in April the next year, God of War came out, and then a lot of developers were like, "I'm not really going to try." But Red Dead 2 also came out that year.
Yeah, Red Dead story was really good. It's just gameplay is kind of too big.
Butter.
It's just too big.
That's where a lot of games are getting. They're just getting to be this massive world that they want you to spend 200 plus hours in. And you lose the attention span of a lot of people at that point.
Yeah, like I don't want to have to ride my horse across the map every mission.
I think people are getting to that point with open world. Like open world's sick and you can develop a good area, but like after you've seen it once, you're like, dude, I'm tired of spending 5 minutes from going to point A to point B, dude. I just want to move.
Yeah. My same complaint with Cyberpunk is that I want to play the game. I don't want to just sit and do one task for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. Damn.
I mean, love or hate Last of Us 2, it's pretty linear, but it finishes around the 26-hour mark, and it keeps you engaged the entire time. Whether or not you like that engagement, that's up to each individual, but it does keep you engaged.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is something that, like, on that note, like, Last of Us 2 is a very emotionally draining game. And games being that type of cinematic experience, you get done, you're emotionally drained.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Ori. It's the complete opposite. Yeah, there's some emotions involved, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a lot of mid do. Like, they're not emotionally draining games to play. They're fun to play. Which is fine. Like, adults like those emotionally draining experiences. I mean, there's a reason that something like Game of Thrones was so good for so many seasons. It kept you on the edge.
Yep.
And then
100%. Yeah.
Let me tell you, if you like Game of Thrones, man, you want to be a weeb, watch Attack on Titan, man. You get
I thought it was fine.
feel of some good shit. You thought it was what?
I thought it was fine. It's not one of my favorite animes.
Yeah, you think so? I think the story is very good, and it makes me happy.
Happy.
I have a thing with voices, and like once a voice actor plays a character I just can't stand, like Aaron plays a couple other characters I just don't like, I stop liking the show.
Because you watch it dub, right? Just
I started it dubbed.
Yeah.
It's like Bleach. Like the character, the guy who plays Ichigo plays Nero in Devil May Cry, and like the first time I played Devil May Cry 4, I didn't like it. So then I started watching Bleach, and I was like, I'm not into this. It doesn't help that Bleach has like a lot of screaming for no reason. A lot of animes do now, and it's like it was cool in the 90s. It was cool in the early 2000s, but that's probably because I was 15 and not 30 plus.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, you're screaming, but like there's no sense of power level increasing. Like you're just mad. The idea that like humans get insanely stronger because they're mad is insane. Yes, you get a little bit stronger. Adrenaline drives you a little,
but it's not.
But you don't go from like lifting a 20-pound weight to lifting a car.
Yeah.
I'm like a mother with her baby stuck in a car.
Don't.
Yeah, but I think with that, I mean, I feel like we're pretty good. We had a good amount of talk today. Kind of want to hold on some stuff because next week we'll hopefully have another good set of topics to talk about, and we can go from there. But with that, I want to thank everybody for stopping by for the Gamer Side Quest podcast. Thank my co-hosts, Balrose and Hack Attack, or Hack for short, because you don't like attacking. That's fine. Put your hand down.
Attack you and your mom.
My God, Jesus.
I mean, he has attack written on the wall.
He does, and it's so offensive.
He should thank his artist.
Right, I should.
He should. You know what? If we ever find that artist, we'll have to thank them.
We will
very well.
We'll have to.
We will at some point.
Empty gift cards do a lot of things.
The random Fiverr person.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us for the Gamer Side Quest. And with that, we can call it an episode. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Peace.
Deuces.
See ya.